Good day, my dear audience. Today we are starting a wonderful series on arbitration. In this series, which is titled Arbitration Made Easy, we will discuss different aspects of arbitration, and we will highlight this very focal point that arbitration is a field wherein even young lawyers or law graduates, they can also enhance their expertise and they can develop the skills which can really pave a new way for their progression in the profession of law. In this series, this is the part one, we will discuss the important terminology used in arbitration. And as a matter of fact, if I recall correctly, the input given by Mr. Martin Liu, the former dean, Lum's School of Law, he has said that the knowledge of substantive part of law is of key importance. And the best part is that Pakistani law graduates, they are well versed with the substantive law because during their formative years of 5 years program, they have studied the law at length. And their understanding and clarity is of key importance for their progression in the field of arbitration. In this part one, let's start understanding the basic terminology which is being used in the course of arbitration and which is being discussed in the relevant law. First of all, the very word arbitration is defined: a method of dispute resolution involving one or more neutral third parties who are usually agreed to by the disputing parties and their decision is binding. This is called arbitration, and this is the definition of arbitration. Let's define now arbitrator: a neutral person who resolve disputes between parties, especially by means of formal arbitration. Arbitration clause is the third definition. In every agreement between the parties, there is a clause given that is known as arbitration clause, and this very clause is defined: a contractual provision mandating arbitration and thereby avoiding litigation and disputes about the contracting parties' rights, duties, and liabilities. Now, let's discuss different types of arbitration. First of all, judicial arbitration. This is court-referred arbitration that is final unless a party subject matter regarding the subject matter objects to the award. Now, the second type of arbitration is rights arbitration, that is also known as grievance arbitration. Arbitration that involves the violation or interpretation of an existing contract. The arbitrator issues a final decision regarding the meaning of the contractual terms. So whenever there is a dispute regarding the interpretation of any terms given in the contract between the parties, this is the role of the arbitrator in rights arbitration to determine the exact connotation and ramification of that very terminology or that very aspect of the clause which is given in the agreement. There is a third type of arbitration commonly known as voluntary arbitration. This is an arbitration by the agreement of the parties. So both of the parties in dispute, they agree for the arbitration and we call it voluntary arbitration. Now, there is another terminology which is used, that is arbitration board. A panel of arbitrators appointed to hear and decide a dispute according to the rules of arbitration. And finally, there is a terminology that is award, a final judgment or decision by an arbitrator. These are the key terminologies used in arbitration, and in this part 1 we have discussed them, the definitions initially. Have a blessed day. Thank you very much. Allah Hafiz.